Welcome to Patriots Today, where we have breaking news. Kendrick Bourne returning to Foxborough on a 3-year deal. NFL free agency is slated to get underway, the tampering period that is, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow on Monday afternoon, March 11th. And the Patriots have been busy prior to that mark, and they do it again with the re-signing of Kendrick Bourne. Adam Schefter had it first, where Kendrick Bourne's free agency basically announced it as well. It's a 3-year deal up to $33 million. We'll talk more in depth on what the actual financials of the Kendrick Bourne deal is, because it's not 11 mil per season. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But this is why you subscribe to the channel, because whether it be myself or Nic Rolhoff or Harrison Graham, who had you covered on the Mac Jones news earlier today as he got dealt into Jacksonville, we will have you covered, especially with more signings anticipated over the next week or so during the free agency tampering period. Hit that sub button and join the channel today. So let's go back to Kendrick Bourne now, because he has been someone who has expressed interest in returning to the Patriots all offseason long. Even when he was a pending free agent, Jerod Mayo being the head coach, Eliot Wolf the new GM, no more Bill Belichick, who was the person who signed him to a 3-year deal 3 off-seasons ago. He always wanted to stay in Foxborough and play for the Patriots. I was going to wonder if that was going to change with Mac Jones being on the outs, because Kendrick Bourne and Mac had a good relationship, but evidently not, as they finally do agree to a deal. Bourne's been very good for New England over the past 3 seasons, and he's arguably been the best wide receiver for the Patriots over that span. You see his numbers on screen right now. He has always flashed swagger. He has flashed the ability to make good moves and good plays happen. His best year coming in 2021. It was his first year with the Patriots. Him and Mac, who was a rookie at the time, developed a really solid connection where Kendrick Bourne had over 800 yards with 5 touchdowns. That year after that, in 2022, was a little bit more ugly. Matt Patricia kind of put Kendrick Bourne in the doghouse, which I didn't really appreciate, because I thought Bourne was our most talented wide receiver, and he didn't really get a lot of PT in 2022. But coming back in 2023, he was our wide receiver 1 prior to that ACL injury that he suffered in Week 8. And now, I will say this, is like, you have to be a little bit concerned with Kendrick Bourne coming off an ACL injury. It has affected players less and less as time has gone on, and health and medicine has gotten better and better, and the recovery times are great. But Kendrick Bourne coming off an ACL injury, that is something that you should absolutely be concerned about. But I'm happy that the Patriots got this deal done, because yes, it is a 3-year, $33 million deal in terms of maximum value, but that is just the maximum value. What do I mean by that? Let's look at this exactly. Andrew Callahan had the actual number. I'm reading it down here, so excuse me. 3-year, $19.5 million contract, which means it's just over 6 and change per season. It carries a maximum value of $33 million. That includes a $4.2 million signing bonus that is prorated, and obviously incentives that bring that possibly up to $33 million. So what should that tell you, at least in cap space? Well, it doesn't really affect much, as his cap hit for 2024 should only be about $7 million. We'll see what it actually is. I'm sure that will come out later in time, but I wanted to bring you this video as soon as possible, because this is a big move for New England ahead of free agency, just about a year or 24 hours away. And it does seem like, as it's coming out here, it's $6.5 million on an annual average basis for Kendrick Bourne. So a very team-friendly deal at $6.5 million per season. But obviously, if Kendrick Bourne plays well and earns that potential maximum of $33 million, well, the Patriots should have no problem with that, because that means, well, everything they wanted Kendrick to do, he did, and earned that $33 million in full. So we'll still have to wait on the full details to see where the Patriots cap space currently sits. It was $82 million prior to the Kendrick Bourne signing, and now that will likely decrease to around $76, $77 million for cap, as the Patriots look to revamp this roster in free agency as that officially begins, where they could sign other free agents that weren't cut by opposing teams in just 24 hours. Grade the re-signing, though, of Kendrick Bourne. Go back to school, if you will, for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Kendrick Bourne wanted to be a Patriot. He wanted to return to Foxborough. He does. He gets his wish. It was reported earlier today by Josina Anderson that the Patriots and Bourne were working towards a re-signing, but they were still a little bit off on the numbers. Well, it seemed like they found out and got the numbers correct before he could hit the open market. If I had to give this a grade, I'm probably giving it a B+. Listen, it's not the craziest signing in the world. Kendrick Bourne isn't the most elite wide receiver or elite player on the open market, but he is someone who wanted to be a Patriot, and I think that is very, very important to me, and it should be important to you as a diehard Patriots fans. We want people who want to be in the building in Foxborough and to don the Patriots colors. In February, Kendrick Bourne told ESPN that I want to come back. That is a goal of mine. I love being a Patriot. It's a great environment for a person like me. He wants to be in New England, and the Patriots got it done. So I salute Eliot Wolf and Jerod Mayo for doing that. And now he comes back and is at least slated to be the wide receiver 1 for New England. The current depth chart for the Patriots is Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, Demario Douglas, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton. I expect that to be overhauled and still some changes being made as we progress throughout the offseason. When you think about what the Patriots want to do, it's been reported that Devontae Parker is likely going to be traded or at least attempted to be dealt during the offseason. So I would expect Parker not to be on this roster. It was also reported that the Patriots have a very strong interest in the veteran wide receiver market. Kendrick Bourne was one of those guys, but I'll say this, Patriots fans. I do not anticipate this re-signing of Kendrick Bourne to impact New England's pursuit of other wide receivers, whether it be in the trade market like a Brandon Ayuk, a Mike Williams, a T. Higgins if they can't work out a long-term extension and he wants out. That could be a possibility in the trade market. But something that I expect New England to still do is pursue Calvin Ridley. The free agent wide receiver out of Jacksonville is no doubt the wide receiver 1 out of this free agency class, and he has been fantastic in his young career. Yes, he's 29 years old, but he has been consistent in putting up numbers. He didn't play for a year and a half due to a 2022 suspension for the entire season due to a gambling violation, and he missed half of 2021 due to injury and personal reasons. Returns and puts up 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns in his first season in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that's pretty good. The last time he was also playing around, he was fantastic in terms of his ability with the Atlanta Falcons, going back to 2020, his final full season in the ATL as wide receiver 1, 90 catches, 1,300 yards, 15 yards per catch to go alongside 9 touchdowns. He was phenomenal as an Atlanta Falcon. And now the question I think we have to ask ourselves, though, is the Kendrick Bourne signing and re-signing going to impact the Patriots' pursuit over Calvin Ridley? I don't think it should be, because Bourne should not be a wide receiver 1, and New England should still pursue that guy on the outside that can win them games and make splash plays on third down and in the red zone. But the question we also have to ask ourselves is, can Calvin Ridley play that big outside X wide receiver position? He's done it his entire career, but he struggles against press coverage, and when he gets jammed because of his slight frame, he's 6'1", but not the strongest guy, he's sometimes unable to get out of press jam coverage. So he is best well suited in free releases and maybe get on the run in motion a little bit, where he comes across and gets a little bit of a head start so he can use his speed and route running to defeat cornerbacks and secondary members that oppose him. And my dream for this wide receiver core, I don't think changes. There's still a lot of interest, according to Jeremy Fowler, like I said, that the Patriots will heavily pursue Calvin Ridley. That should continue, and that should still maintain to be the idea of Eliot Wolf and Jerod Mayo. Get Calvin Ridley as wide receiver 1. Kendrick Bourne is now officially wide receiver 2, in my opinion, assuming he is fully healthy, ready to go for week 1 in September. Wide receiver 3 / that slot guy should still be the second-year man out of Liberty, Demario Douglas, who was the Patriots' best wide receiver after Kendrick Bourne went down. Wide receiver 4, to me, should be a day 2 draft pick, whether it be in the second round or third round. We'll see how the rest of free agency shakes out for New England. But going after a wide receiver with pick 34 or 68 should be your best option to fill out this wide receiver crew. And then that wide receiver 5 spot, whether it be the former second-round pick out of Baylor, Tyquan Thornton, or Juju Smith-Schuster, who's still on this roster. Maybe they move off of him in a trade. Maybe they don't. But if he's still there, him and Thornton will likely still be the two wide receivers competing for that wide receiver 5 position surrounding the New England Patriots. But I like this move, and in my final thoughts surrounding Kendrick Bourne, I'm glad we kept him. He's always been a fan favorite. He's always been a personal favorite of mine because of the way he likes to play for the Patriots. You can tell he feels an honor to wear that New England Patriots uniform every Sunday, and he just brings a jolt of energy, and he's always smiling for New England. I personally love that. He wanted to be here. Glad he's back. It's still time to get an elite wide receiver. There's no getting that twisted. This doesn't solve that position, and that's why Calvin Ridley should still be the guy New England goes after. In free agency, him and Tyron Smith are my top 2 targets when things open up for the legal tampering period at 12 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Make sure you hit that sub button because we will have you covered on the latest surrounding the New England Patriots. Join the channel and never miss a piece of New England Patriots news like this one. I'll see you tomorrow. Big day, free agency. Join us.